Today we are going live. We are doing comedy coaching for entrepreneurs. Now, a lot of you may be saying, what can an entrepreneur learn from comedy? Well, lots. You see, yesterday in my live, I revealed that I have spent the last 15 years mastering or becoming really good at my comedic voice, at who I am as a comedian. I've spent the last 15 years being really good at corporate training. But what I haven't spent the last 15 years doing is becoming really good at entrepreneurship. So, in today's session, we're going to be talking about how we can use comedy for entrepreneurship, who that can help, what sorts of companies, and what are the frameworks and the tactics we can use to apply it. Okay, so a lot of you have been saying to me as well, Claudine, I'm missing your sketches. I am missing the funny content on your channels. And to that I say, oh well. I will be doing sketches and comedy content as much as I can and as much as I have capacity for. At the moment, I have agreed and announced that I will be going live doing coaching online, using my platform to discuss the kind of comedy coaching that I'm going to be implementing in my own business so that you can implement it in your business. You see, for the last 15 years in South Africa, I went into companies and I taught these billion-dollar brands how to be funny. And now I've immigrated to London and I've had a huge aha, because I'm like, oh, I've done it for these big billion-dollar brands. Why can I not do it for me? So I'm starting again. I'm starting fresh. I'm starting in a new country. I like to call it I'm building a new tribe in a new town, baby. And I want you to join me on this journey. And some learnings, I'm going to share some wins, some failures, and we're going to go through this together. So if you are an entrepreneur in any business, e-commerce, SaaS, if you are a comedian, performer, any front-facing lead character of the business, I want you to listen up, because this coaching is for you. Whether you are selling stickers or whether you are selling Lamborghinis, okay, this is going to be for you. So today, my major lesson and the thing I want to talk to you about is that context is queen. Context is everything. So what I've noticed while I have been rebuilding my business is just how important it is to know your ideal target market and who you are speaking to. For me, I know that I'm speaking to entrepreneurs. If I wanted to niche down even more, I would say it's probably entrepreneurs in South Africa at the moment, because that's where most of my audience is. But the whole point is for me to expand and go global and scale. Okay. But I know my target audience. I know that they are mainly between 30 and 45. I know where they are hanging out, what they are doing. Okay, I use ChatGPT to help me discover some of those answers and to get a little bit of clarity on it, which means you can do it too. But the first thing always is to know who you are speaking to. And sometimes it can feel really lonely, because you're going live or you're doing these videos and everybody has to start off somewhere. Everybody has to start off somewhere. So you're starting off, you're going live, you're doing these videos, you're getting absolute crickets, you think no one is listening, but slowly and surely you are building an audience, and I am going to show you how to use comedy techniques to foster that audience, to build an audience of adoring fans, who keep coming back for more. So that's also going to be in the pipeline on this channel, and we're going to be sharing everything. So I had a major aha today that I wanted to share with you all, and this major aha was that context is queen. And what I mean by that, if I take this eyeliner, okay, oh my goodness, the mic is falling off for y'all. Okay, so I take this eyeliner, all right, and I say, I give it to you in a Tesco packet, and I say, cool, this is worth $1.99. Great. We can all agree that the max we would pay for this eyeliner is $1.99. If I take the same exact eyeliner and I put it in a glass box with a beautiful light shining on top, and I place it in Harrods in Knightsbridge, okay? And then, in order for you to see this eyeliner, what I do is I say, okay, cool. Now that you've seen this eyeliner, or now that you've seen it in the box and it's all beautifully displayed, you need a security guard to come who is wearing gloves to take the eyeliner out of the box to show you the eyeliner. Now, how much would you pay for the eyeliner? Hundreds, thousands, whatever it is. Okay. There's a reason why Le Mer can charge what Le Mer can charge, and Vaseline can charge what Vaseline can charge. Okay. So this just blew my mind today, because I've been looking into selling my courses and my coaching on specifically a course on how to use humorous content, how to use content that converts, comedy content that converts, how to use comedy in your content so it converts. That's it. Okay. And I've been trying to sell that course on TikTok. And so I've been watching lots of lives and lots of TikTok shopping and lots of TikTok selling. And I've just learned so much about this whole thing about context being queen, and how if you set up the context of being a luxury brand or being an expert in your field, how to set that up with and make it look expensive and make it look luxurious, and make the experience for your customer, which is the most important thing, make the experience for your customer just feel luxurious, okay? And turn the online shopping into an experience. I was watching a woman on TikTok who was selling a bag today, and I'm not joking. The bag fell on the floor, and then she wrapped the strap in her hand. She got it caught in her hand, and her cell phone fell on the floor. Now listen, this is raw, this is live, this is unedited. I'm using a really good mic, but other than my mic, I'm using basic lights that I have at home. I'm keeping it as simple as possible, otherwise I won't go live. But there is a way to present your product with pride. I don't care whether it is a course, whether it is a PDF, a guide, a something that just makes it more of an experience for your customer, that offers, or that says we're going to over deliver. If I was on TikTok selling bags, I would be wearing gloves every time I handled the bag, and I would be treating those Gucci knockoffs or whatever they are selling. I don't know what people are selling on TikTok. I don't know if it's knockoffs, if it's real, but I would be treating those bags as if they were Hermes bags, that you didn't want to get your fingerprints on. So the big lesson for me today, the big aha I had, was I need to create context for my audience, for my ideal avatar, that says the Claudine brand that you are going to be getting is a brand where I am going to give you an experience rather than just a product. I'm not here to sell you a product. I want to sell you an experience. Okay? I want to sell you something that is going to change your life, that is going to better your life, that is going to take your business to the next level. Okay? So I want you to think about the context of the pen that I told you. When you are thinking of your business, are you thinking about, and it's okay if you are, but this was just a huge aha for me because this was not how I was thinking about my business. Are you thinking about your business in terms of, if I present it in a packet, it's going to be worth £2.99? But if I present it in a pretty box with a light on it and have a security guard with white gloves come to show me the product, it's going to be worth £2,099 or whatever the price is. Okay, so for me, the bigger heart was that, oh, you see, this is all natural. This is what happens. My laptop just fell off the stand. Okay, so it's not about being perfect. This is actually great. It is great that this is happening because this is not about being perfect, and that's not what we're talking about. But it's what I'm trying to say, and what the big aha that I had is, when I am creating a product for someone, I want to create something that over delivers. I want to create an experience for someone. And even that, and as I say, if you're a comedian, or an entertainer or an actor, or an artist or whatever it is, it relates to that as well. Because even as a comedian, if I think of it in terms of my comedy shows, I want my audience to come to my show and go, what a great night out. What an experience. How cool was that? Okay. So context is totally queen. And the other big thing I wanted to say about that is, if I think of context in terms of the stuff that I am teaching, in terms of comedy and how we can use comedy, and comedy in our content or comedy for our brand, it's all about taking the context that our ideal avatar is currently in and heightening their situation, making more of their situation, amplifying the awkward to find the funny. But it's important to know the context first. So that's how I would relate context to queen. Context is queen in terms of content creation specifically. Right? I would look at, what is the context? What is my ideal customer currently thinking now? What are they struggling with? What are their pain points? How do I look at their context? How do I look into their world? How do I get into their world? How do I speak their language? And then, in order to create comedy in that context, how do I take the context they are in and amplify it? The context they are in and exaggerate it. Make it bigger, make it awkward. Okay? If I think of examples that I've used for brands that I've worked with, sometimes it would just be going into in my reels and the videos and stuff that I've used. Sometimes it would be going into a public space and saying what my ideal customer is thinking in that public space and shouting it out, holding the product. I remember doing that for Superga, and taking the context of my ideal client, taking the context of Superga's ideal client, holding these awesome, beautiful Supergas up, you know, um, because I was doing a giveaway. I partnered with the amazing people at Superga, and standing in the middle of nowhere shouting, who wants a new pair of shoes today? Who wants the most comfortable shoes in the world? So sometimes it's about just taking your individual, your ideal customer, and just heightening that world a little bit. And by me holding the Superga and shouting out what I was thinking, or what my ideal client was thinking, that was a way of heightening it. That was a way of amplifying the awkwardness. Okay. That was a way of amplifying the funny and the comedy. Another thing that I did was, it was for Pangela Group. So Pangela Group is the most fantastic security group. And I created a reel for them where I was the security guard. And the reason why this was funny is because obviously I was doing ninja moves that were ridiculous. I was holding my binoculars the wrong way. I was on my cell phone talking as the baddies came past, So what I did was I took the ideal customer of my client, which is, a mom in Johannesburg who needs security at her house. And what I did was I put her in the situation of being the security guard. So how can you take the context of your ideal client, the world that they are in, and mess and play with that world or amplify that world to make it funnier? This is how I want you to start thinking in terms of using comedy in your content. And now, why is it so important to have a brand that is more lighthearted, or have a brand that uses humor, or have a brand that uses comedy? When you are using comedy as a hook or comedy to sell, studies have proved that it is 72% more likely that your customer will buy from a humorous brand or from a humorous advert. 72% is a whole lot of percent when it comes to sales, people. Okay, so if you are watching this thinking, how can I make my brand lighter? How can I add more humor? How can I be funnier? How can I hook my audience with comedy? This is the sort of stuff we're going to be discussing on this channel. But today's big lesson for entrepreneurs, for business owners, for anybody who is the front face of their business, the big lesson is context is queen. Find your ideal client, find the world that they are living in, and take that situation in your client's world and amplify the awkward. That is how you make a reel funny. That is how easy it is to start thinking like a comedian and creating like a visionary. This is why comedy and entrepreneurship is entangled, is entrenched, is just fits so well together. Because in both situations, whether it is the context of selling something like a pen or an eyeliner or whatever it is, we always thinking about the context of our ideal customer. So that was the big aha. That was the big lesson that I had. Today's live has been fun. It's been messy. it's been totally messy. We've dropped the mic, we've dropped everything, but I've had loads of fun. I hope that you guys have gotten something out of this session, that you have felt at least inspired to add some humor into your brand, to know that this is possible. I'm starting again with my business in London. I want you to start again, or start with me. Join me on this process. Join the tribe. If you want my guide, it's the Comedy Cashflow Formula, which I teach you how to add comedy comedy into your content that converts like crazy. I'm gonna put a link in my description. Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow. And as always, angel doves, stay hilarious.